This is what people think is acceptable. Look, let me just spin this around you and have a look what's happened. Look. So morning everyone. So it's 6:20 in the morning. Look at this. What a lovely time of year it is. I tell you what, it might be 6:20 in the morning, but it's not hard to get out of bed when the weather's like this. Well, not the weather so much, but the lightness of the morning, you know? It's not so easy to get out of bed when it's dark and wet in the winter, but when you got a summer's morning, 6:20 is all right. Anyway, I'm just gonna go and, well, I'm just moving the fence. This is a bit of a catch-up video. I'm moving the fence for the cows, but I thought I'd show you the grass situation because it's a bit dire. And then we're gonna probably go and see the maize and a few other bits and bobs. But we did have a bit of rain last night. I was thinking we were never gonna get any rain. We had some rain last night, which would mean the grass might green up a bit. It's gone a bit greener than it used to be. I was really worried a month ago that we were going to end up with nothing, but we're still short of grass on the farm because we've had this prolonged dry spell. It's gone on and on and on and on, and now that's impacted. You saw the bales that I made the other day, 23 bales. Last time I checked on what we had there before, we had 50 a couple of years ago in the same field. We just done another field today or yesterday. We'll go and check that in a bit, see how many bales right there. But from the cow's point of view, I'm feeding them stuff that I wouldn't really normally want to feed. So how it worked is I could see we were going to run short of grass. So we fed, you might remember seen in one of my previous videos, we fed a field right down there that I would have baled normally, because the grass stopped growing, so I fed it to sort of slow them down so that they would, where they're at now, would grow. It has grown, but it's grown all straggly. Let's go out and have a look. I'll just turn the electric fence off. Here we go. Right, that's just, you know, this works blooming well, this thing. The car battery, electric fence, it just clicks, click, 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 puts a little charge down here and stops them going into this. So let me just, actually I've got to go along and undo it. Let me just undo that. Oh, I'm trying to do it with one hand. Just stop a minute. When I'm filming, it's quite hard to do anything. I need 3 hands. I'm Rich the farmer with my third leg, doodle, oh no, third hand, doodle doodle. Well, we better not sing songs like that. That's old Rolf Harris, wasn't it? Right, let me just stop a minute and I'll be back as soon as I've undone this. There we go. All I have to do is take that catch out of that reel, and then the reel loosens off, and then I can go along and slack it off. Right, let me just show you. Let me just show you this field. Right, stop there. So we have grazed this bit here. See the patches of thistles and nettles up there. But this is what they're grazing now, and you can see it's gone to seed in places. It's not great feed. Look, but look how thin it is in the bottom. Can you? Let me just put the camera down. Can you sort of see how it's thin in the bottom, and then it in certain parts? Look. There we go. I'm going to go up to. You see how stalky that, look, when I say it's gone to seed, look, this is what grass likes doing. Look at that. Can you see that? There's the seed head there, which is great for going regenerating the soil, putting some more seed into the ground. Look, there you go. But not so great for cattle. So, well, they seem to be milking all right on this actually. It's in farming terms, isn't it? How are your cows milking? They're milking all right. Farmers talk like that. How are your cows doing? Oh, they're milking all right. So yeah, so that's gone to seed, which isn't ideal. It's been a funny year. Everything seems to have got a bit early because of the dryness. So it's sort of bolted up and gone to seed, and the base has got not really a lot of thickness in it, and it's sort of, when it goes to seed, it's more sort of filler than lush grass. That's why we have the spring flush. They call it the spring flush when you turn the cows out, because the grass is at its best. It hasn't gone to seed, it's all lush and quite nutritious. When it gets grass stalky like this, it's not so good. But it is what it is, you know. We have got grass. We had the rain last night. I'm hoping we'll go on through now, and then well, we'll see. But it's interesting, isn't it? I'm in this field now. I was just thinking a little bit about the farm history the other day, and I'm thinking, so I've been here nearly 40, well, I've been here all my life, grew up on the farm, but I've been working here 39 years. And as someone who's been here a long time, I kind of know a little bit about the history of the field without thinking about it. And you take it for granted. Then you realise no one else has got the stories of the field in the same way as I have, or my brother has. Because to anyone else driving by, it's just a field, isn't it? For me, it's got specific things that I can remember from it, and we'll just spin you around. Okay, so this field here is the biggest field on the farm. It's called the new ground. I have no idea why it's called the new ground, but it's not new. It's been here a long time, but it didn't used to be one field. Let me just stop here. Right, actually this is a very good point to stop. Right, so up until late 70s, you can see that water trough up there. Up until the late 70s, there was a hedge there that came right down here, and the hedge curved round and it went to that pond down there. Actually, it must have been a bit further along, I think. I think the hedge line was more over here. There's a bit of a ditch there. I think, I'll just take that off there. I think you can see it sometimes in the summer. It's a slightly different tinge on the grass. It was definitely here somewhere, and it curved down and went down there. So in the 1970s, we had Dutch elm disease, like we've got ash dieback. Dutch elm disease came through this farm, and there was loads and loads of really big elm trees, and those also come to Dutch elm, which meant a lot of the hedgerows suddenly had huge gaps in them and stuff. And it was of the era when everyone was trying to make their farm fields bigger and improve them. And that was the point when my dad sort of started taking out a few hedges. It kind of made it easier for farmers to do that, because all the huge big trees that would have been a right pain to move had died. And suddenly you were left with these gappy hedges. And I think that's when a lot of farmers thought, oh, well, that hedge might as well go. So my dad took out the hedge, which went down there, turned this into one big field, rightly or wrongly. I mean, it made a lovely field for silage making, but, you know, I'm kind of sad when you sort of think about the loss of these hedges. And just got to look after the ones I got left now, really. So that was one story. There used to be a hedge here. The other one, 2 bombs went off in this field in the middle of World War II, just about here somewhere. And when you think, well, why would they chuck a couple of bombs in this field? Well, Yate is over there, and they bombed Yate. There used to be an aircraft factory, I think it was, over in Yate. And there used to be AK guns on top of the hill there. This is all unbelievable, isn't it? You think, in the middle of the countryside, why would that happen? But and 2 bombs were dropped in this field and exploded. My dad's got, my dad picked up the nose cone, but he gave it to Reg Pearce's dad, because I think he asked him if he could have it, and my dad said he always regretted giving it to him. But we have got some bits of shrapnel in the farmhouse. I've got some bits from the bombs that landed there, and the council came back in and filled the holes in. Interestingly enough, the vibrations from that bomb explosion caused a water collapse back at the farm. And if you drive up the drive, there's a part of the garden wall that's lower than everywhere else. And that's because when the wall collapsed, there was a shortage of cement, so they only rebuilt it up to sort of chest height rather than right up here. So that's another story from this field. The other story is, well, let me see. So realistically, that's why there's 2 gates, because of that hedge line. Look. There's a gate there which would have been off the road into this field here, which was here, and then there's a second gate there which would have been for this field when it was a field, and the original gate entrance to connect these two was just about where that water trough was, and we used to run the cattle through into here. There's also a bit of a gap in the hedge over there where a car went through one year. It's grown over now, but I remember a car came into this field. I had to pick up all the bits. I'm trying to think what other stories there are from here. Well, the pond we restored down there 10 years ago, so that was obviously on YouTube anyway. Oh yeah, so I also remember my dad having kale in this field. So that must have been when that other hedge was there, because it wouldn't have been such a big, he wouldn't have had kale all across here, he would have had it up there. And I can remember, Christ almighty, that's got to be a mid-70s. I can remember he had a scarecrow on the kale that had a robin's nest in it, because when I was a little boy that was quite an interesting thing. He built a scarecrow like I did when we had put a scarecrow up under the hill a few years back. Yeah, and he used to have an electric fence. That must have been, I wonder if that was before the cows used to come in at winter, because I'm not sure what time of year you would have fed that. Certainly when we were making lots of hay, because we would have made hay out here before we made silage, because we didn't make hay till about 1980. But I can remember him strip grazing the kale for the cattle, and I can remember the scarecrow being there, and it was a horrible thing to sort of move the fence on, because the kale was all wet and you'd walk through it. Of course I must have been quite small, so when I walked through it the probably kale was up to here and it's all wet, so when it rained all the leaves were wet. I don't know whether many people strip graze kale for cows now, probably not. So that was a crop that was in here. So the sort of funny thing is, there's a couple of little stories there. You know, when you're connected with the land in a family farm like this, you've got little stories like that are just connected with the field that no one else would know. And when I go, well, the video evidence here now and there, but you know, you buy a field, you reset that dial, don't you? If you buy a field off a farmer and he doesn't tell you the stories. Anyway, I'm rambling on now, but we're going to go and have a look at the maize in a minute. But I thought I like history in the farm and talking about it a little bit. But the other thing as well is that I thought I'd just mention is that is the loss of the dairy farms. I saw a thing the other day saying there's 7,500 dairy farmers left in the UK, and I think when I was a lad there was probably 20,000. Well, it said 1996 there was something like 35, but I remember someone quoting 20,000. And that's what's changed since I was a kid, is the loss of the dairy farms around where I live. Well, I can remember looking across this valley across here, and you'd see all the herds of cows along through there, and now we're the only dairy farm looking across that valley. It's unreal, isn't it? I think you don't really notice the loss of them until you think about it, and then I suddenly think, well, there used to be 5 dairy farms in this village when I was a kid, now there's 2, and just dotted around everywhere. There was one there, you know, and they've all gone. There's no less cows in the UK than there was then. In fact, there's the same number, but what's happened is all the herds have got really big, and some of the herds are huge, and some of these cows don't go outside now, which I don't think that's right, really. I think cows should be outside. So if you're watching this and you've got your herd inside, I'm sorry. But I kind of find that a bit sad, really, because you kind of lose a little bit of something out of the countryside when you lose these farms. Some of it's all right. You know, some of the farms have found alternative enterprises and doing other things, and probably more successfully and more happy, perhaps. But some of the farms that have gone have just become houses, and the land's been let out to another farmer, and you've gradually taken the people out of the countryside. And what I'm seeing from my point of view of my life is the emptying of the countryside of these little farms that all made a little community. And the knock-on of that is that you've lost the people, their kids that went to young farmers, and you know, they lent their tractor to the local cricket team, and so it's changed the countryside, I think. And and that's primarily down to several factors really. The milk price is just shocking, how it just fluctuates all the time, and struggled to keep making a steady living. But the work involved in running a dairy farm, there are other easier jobs out there, and there's no doubt about it. Some people have gone, I need a better job, a different job. You know, it's just pressure all the time really. You know, pressure on us, I feel it. We're here, you know, we're not giving up, but not yet anyway. But I've become a kind of bit of a fossil really. You know, I'm left here as one of the few dairy farms in the UK still going, of this size definitely. You know, we're milking 70 cows. You know, this day and age, there's hardly anyone doing that. But I'm still carrying on. Helps that I've got the YouTube money, and that makes a difference. So when you watch the adverts, thanks for doing that, that helps. Anyway, right, we're going to get on. I'll move this fence. You know I like a rabbit. Oh God, if you meet me in Ireland when we get the ploughing match, I could probably talk with you all day. Anyway, I just thought I'd stop because I need to get on with this job. We'll go and look at the maize in a minute, but I just thought I'd scan round on this zoom. I'm going to zoom right across. People always ask why I still use a camcorder, but it's because I can do this. If you look across there, you will see a hot air balloon in the distance. And it's just gone down. You can't see it. So above that Land Rover. Oh, look at that zoom. I mean, above that Land Rover, there were 2 hot air balloons while I was chatting. They've just gone. But there will be more, because this is the time of year for hot air balloons around here. We always see a lot from Bristol. Anyway, look. Farming history there. Ash dieback. If ever anything's, all my yakking and all the stuff I talk about will show you. If ever there's an importance in this, is that I'm capturing a bit of history here. You know, the changes in rural life, the loss of these trees, ash dieback. If my dad had had a camcorder in the 70s, it would have been marvellous to have him filmed the Dutch elm disease coming through, because we'll never get big elm trees like we had when he was a boy. They were hundreds of years old, and you never get them now. And I'm recording stuff like this ash dieback that is history repeating itself really. Look, there's one, look, let me just show you. There's the ash dieback one there. And you can see most of that green's ivy. There's a little bit at the top shooting out. That's still, there's still trees still trying to hold on, look. But realistically it's dead. Look at it, poor thing. And next to it is a seemingly healthy looking ash tree, which is, but if you look on the lower branches, I think that's just starting to go now. Look, can I zoom in on there? Can you see that? Look, there's something not right there, isn't there? Can you see? That's what they seem to do. They thin at first. Look, there it is. The first year or two, you think they're all right, but they've got these thinning bits down the bottom that are just starting to go. And then suddenly, boom. So I don't know how long that one's going to be there. But it's capturing history, me recording this. But also, I am conscious that it's a minor miracle that a farm our size is still here, milking cows. And realistically, with all the West will in the world, the chances of it still being here in 100 years' time, or even 20 years' time, milking cows, is quite low. And that's not because no one wants to. I'm just undoing this wire. It's not because maybe no one wants to, but it's the harsh reality of the way that income on the farm is going, the single farm payments going, we're losing money from that. But the regulations and bureaucracy going with this job now compared with what it was like 30 years ago is phenomenal. The environmental regs and the things like the CO2 carbon footprint thing, what'll happen is it's gradually pushing farmers out that can't cope with that. And the hardest bit is on a small farm like ours is that the costs are still the same in many ways as they are for the bigger one. When you pay someone, say you pay someone to do your carbon audit, the cost for me to do that is probably the same as the bigger guy, but the bigger guy can absorb that cost a bit easier. We've just done a carbon footprint for Miller actually. Got a fly on my finger. Just done a carbon footprint for Miller. let me just say, I'm not going to comment what I thought about all that, for probably reasons that are best left unsaid. I'll talk about it off camera to anyone, but let me just tell you that it was an interesting project. Right, I'm going to crack on. We got to go and see this maize. I'm just going to move this fence, and then we'll go on. Sorry, I've yacked on. That's a bit of a long yak there. You know, sometimes it's good to yak though and not actually do a video of mowing and stuff, isn't it? Right, crack on. Anyway, here's a welcome bit of rain actually. I can hear it on the Land Rover roof. What we're going to do, I just think we'll go along and have a look at how many round bales are in that field. I don't think there'll be many. And I'll have a look at the maize as well, because we haven't seen that since we planted it, I think. So I wonder how it's doing with this kind of weather, because it's a tropical plant really. I think it comes from South America originally. So although we haven't had a lot of rain, I'm hoping it's doing all right. I think this bit of rain here might just be about saving grace for it. It's a bit not like grass, which is, it's a bit late for the grass, but I think the maize had a lot of moisture in the ground in May, kept it going. We had a bit of rain sporadically in June, and I think it's probably going to be all right. Right, let's go and have a look. Stop here. Let me just show you something. Right, I'm going to stop here. I'm going to show you what's going on in the countryside, in not just my field, but you know how much I hate flipping fly tipping. Let me just show you an example of what's popped up in the last couple of days. And this isn't my field, by the way. Oh, this is what people think is acceptable. Look, let me just spin this around you and have a look what's happened. Look. So someone has decided to dump this waste here. Look at this. I don't even know what that is. It's like a bin system. What the hell that's for? Look at this. This is packaging from something like a TV or something, I would have thought. Polystyrene. Couple of blinds. There's blinds there, look. No business card by looks. Look at that. Wooden blocks there from whatever they've been doing. Some wire. Look at that. And then there's disgusting household waste. There's even a whole pepper in there, I can see. Oh, Jesus. Look at that. Look, why would you do that? Look, a lovely field like this, someone thought, I'll reverse in here, chuck that. Absolute. You just. The sickness of these people. Presumably to save a few quid, or just they can't be bothered to go down the tip. You know? And why would you do that? It's just. And they know that someone else will clear this, but I mean, this is Bob Blake's, our neighbour. Poor chap. I expect you're probably aware of this now. They've got to come out here and clear this, you know? Anyway, I'm just looking next door at Reg's Barley. That's looking good. We might just go and have a look along there, have a look at it, but I'm just going to leave this a nightmare. Right, let's jump over here and have a look at this barley then. So I think the barley is a couple of weeks early actually. I'm sort of usually think barley being ready the end of July really. I'm not. I'm no arable expert, so I haven't got the knowledge that some of you have got, but you know, to me this year it seems very early. I'm filming this, so what's the date today? I don't know, about the 8th of July, so you're seeing this a little bit late. I'm looking across here and it looks really ready to go to me. Let me just have a look and get a good close-up. This is how you tell barley from wheat, is that these, look at these whiskers on it. Look at that. Wheat doesn't have that, or most wheat doesn't have that. It's a beautiful sight. I think, you know, when you see a field like this, a field of corn ripe, that's a lovely, lovely thing to see. I mean, it's just a massive field of barley going on. It's a dark day, so it's not looking as beautiful as it would in a blue sky sunshine, but you can see it's got a smell as well. I don't know, hard for me to explain to people the smells of the countryside if you don't know them, but if you're ever out in a field of hay, mown hay, the smell from the hay is quite distinctive, and I can smell the fresh corn here. It's got a smell, a countryside smell. You don't probably know what that's like if you've not been out and experienced it, but hey ho. Anyway, we're moving on. Thought we'd stop at the barley. We're going to have a look how many bales are in that field I mowed the other day. I am not thinking very many. I mean, the lack of rain so far this year has really knocked on our forage. So we'll go and see. I reckon there might only be about 6 bales, if that. We'll have a look. It's only over there. I've got to shut the gate anyway. Stop some more fly tipping there. Here we are. This is as bad as I thought it'd be. Alright, let's spin it around. What have we got? Oh my goodness me, look at this. We have got, this is second cut, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bales. 6 bales in this entire field. Jesus. Just no rain, no grass. That was a field we mowed with the Maize mower. This was the Maize mower field, and I mowed that in May. Was it early May? Got I think we got about 30 bales off it. Might be more than that even. I can't remember now. And look at it now. I think 33 rings a bell. I reckon that's about right. Look at it now. I've got 6 bales off that. We'll try and get a third cut off it. I might put a bit of fert on it if it looks like rain. There's not enough rain now to warrant putting fertiliser on it. 30. We are so down on our forage, it's ridiculous. Our second cut is just turning into non-existent. So we'll be buying silage in for sure. So this is another one of those random videos, really, isn't it? Where I sort of talk about a few things going on. I quite like those random videos. It's not a, you know, you got every now and then you got to stop and catch up, haven't you, and show you what's going on. It's not just about making a video about just, you know, doing something like silage making or, oh, there's a van coming, I better go. Right, let's get and have a look at the maize. I think the neighbour's got a wheat crop we can look at as well afterwards. Right. Oh, someone's dumped some polystyrene here. So I'm just going to climb over the gate. You can look at my nose hair while you're waiting. Right, I'm going to spin this round in a minute. This is looking pretty good. Obviously a little lighter here, but this is where the compaction would be when people are driving in and out. I can see some bits up there that maybe aren't quite as good, but that's usually where the stone is. Up there, look, you can, I don't know if you can make this out. You can see a patch there that's not quite, it's not done quite as well. I think that will be where the stone is. Let me just get out though. Look at this. Where the hell's that come from? Is that connected with that other polystyrene? Right, I'm gonna go out here. There's a big bare patch here. It looks like it's got wheat in it. What's going on there then? Something a bit odd. What's that? Is that grass? Is it grass? Yeah, there's some sort of grass there. Don't normally see that. Right. I'm walking through. They always say knee high by July. Well, this is waist high by July. Or more. Looking pretty good. It just needs some more rain really to get going, I think. But it's looking a good crop as usual. You know. Too early for any cobs. We just need a bit more rain on it. We really could do with some rain. I just think it's looking green and healthy, but it just needs the rain. I mean, you know, there's a point where any plant, even if it's used to drier conditions, just needs moisture. And look at this ground here. Look at this. Can you see how dusty that is? You know, that needs some rain. So we'll see how we go with this in a few weeks' time when it's bigger. But the issue now is rain, 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 really. Right, last stop, we saw the barley, and I thought we'd just stop at the neighbour's wheat field. And this is obviously not quite as ready to harvest as the barley. Barley is always before wheat, and you can see why. Let me just spin it around, you'll see. So you can see here, it's a lovely crop of wheat. But look, there's a wild oat growing in the middle of there. You get these things. That's not what you want, but that's inevitable in every crop. You get some things you don't want. So there's the wheat, but you can see it's still got a green tinge to it. Can you see that on there? Still a green tinge to some of it. I'm not going to walk out into the middle of the field, but you can see, like particularly under here, look, this is still green. This bit here, not ripe. Got a, you know, modern wheat has got a lot more grains on it than the old-fashioned ones, but it's not consistent yellow all the way through. You can just see the odd tinge on the middle bit, and then when you get to the hedge, this is always where it's getting shading. Look, the shading from the hedge means the sun didn't get on it to ripen, and you can see a green tinge to the corn all the way up there. This is why arable farmers don't like hedges and trees in their farm, because they, generalisation here, but it shades out the crop a bit. So that's not ripe yet. In the middle, still not quite ripe. It's nearly there. Look, again, look, you can see the shading. It's a good example of what you can see where that oak tree is there. Can you see the green tinge there to the crop underneath? So this is sort of not ripening. It's just in the shade. So it just shows the impact of sun on a crop, and that's why barley. That's why the barley over there has done really well, because we had so much sun in June that it ripened a lot quicker than it would normally. Anyway, you can see our maize field up there now, look. You can just see across, it's not looking too bad. Nice and green anyway. There we go. So, right. That's that. A quick catch up. I'm off for breakfast now. Ah, lovely to see you all. I don't see you, do I? I say lovely to see you all. Lovely to speak to you all. I don't see you. I hope I will see some of you when I go to the Irish Ploughing Championships in September. We're there, me and Farmer P are there on the Thursday. So if any of you are there, look out for us. We haven't really got a plan of what we're going to do now, but we will have a location where we'll say we are at some point during the day, so that if anyone wants to come and have a chat and say hello, they can come and find us. And that'd be nice to actually properly meet some people. Right, I'm off. Let's go. Go and tell Bob Blake about his rubbish.